Good morning, everybody. We're going to be working on Module 4, Lesson 1, page 1 today, or 2 today, page 2. So Module 4, Lesson 1, page 2. And before we start going into the module itself, we have to go over some vocabulary today because we're working with geometry. So we're working with brand new math that you might not have heard before, and we need to go over the vocabulary so that you understand exactly what we're doing. So our first vocabulary is points. And when we're doing geometry, we're going to have different points, and these are points right here, so A and B. So all it is just two dots that you'll see when we do geometry, and those are called points. Next is when we have a line. So when we put a line through these points, this is called a line. However, with a line, you see these little arrows right here. These represent that the line is not going to stop at A and B, our points. It is going to continue past them. So when we have an arrow, it means that it's continuing and it's never stopping. When we continue with our line segment, now this is a line in which does stop at our points. So a line segment does stop at our points, and you can see here that there are no arrows here, and they stop at A and B, our points. A ray is a line that starts at a point A and will go through a point and continue in one direction forever. That you can see that arrow represents that line is continuing past the point of B and continuing on. And finally, we have an angle. So we have our points A and B, and when we introduce another point and put a line segment through it, we have what's called an angle. Okay? And that's our vocabulary for today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be placing this little diagram right in the corner of our mathematics today, and we are going to be focusing on our math, but looking back at our vocabulary so that we can easily reference it during the work. All right. So now that we have our vocabulary, we also have our problem set. Let's read the instructions before we begin. So we're observing familiar figures below, right? We have a house, we have a flash drive, and we have a compass rose, which we've learned about in California history. So we have familiar objects here, and we are going to be labeling some points on the figure. We're going to be using these points to create a ray, a line segment, and an angle. And we are going to show these geometric vocabulary and shapes onto our problem set right here. So let's get into the first section. So let's make some points. Let's make some points on the house. Okay. So I'm gonna begin with my easiest points is I'm gonna go with A and B here. All right, so this is gonna represent A and B, and they want a ray. So remember, a ray is one point is going on into infinity. So using your straight edge, make sure that your line is going through B, and we put an arrow right here to represent that it's continuing past that point. So we have A. So how we write this down is we have A, B, and we put a line with an arrow through, because we're telling that it's going through B. So we're just telling the reader, whoever is correcting our work, that AB is a ray going through point B. Okay? So let's continue. We need to represent a line. So we need to represent a line, meaning that 2 points that are going in through infinity. Okay, so we can make new points along the house, and I'm going to be representing these points as C and as D. Okay, and our line is obviously going to go through both of them. So make sure you get your straight edge, and we're going to be representing this boom and boom, right? So here we're going to be drawing CD and a line segment on top, representing that, hey, or a line representing like, hey, this is indeed a line. It is going through each point and continuing onward. So going through each point as C and D and moving onward. That's why we have these arrows. Okay. Now let's do a line segment, right, where we have 2 points. They stop at a point. So you can choose DB or CA to put your points. It's up to you. I'm going to put this as purple. Okay, so I have purple here, and it's going to C and A. And I'm just going to say C and A, and I'm going to make a line. All right, and you can put little dots on the top if you want, just to represent that, hey, it's going to be a line. And then our angle, we have different angles here. You can go an angle here or an angle here. It's up to you. But I am going to keep my angle at DC and A. So for my angle, this is how we write angles. And I'm going to do DC A here to represent my angle. Okay, perfect. So that is just an example of what we can do for our house. Now I'll go over the flash drive for you very briefly, just to give you an idea of what you can do, and I'll do the same thing. So I have to make some points. So I'm going to make points on A and B here. So I'm going to label this A. I'm going to label this B. Okay, and I'm first going to make my ray. And my ray is going from one line to the next, and it's passing through a point and going to infinity. Got to make that arrow. So I'm going to do AB and an arrow. And then I need a line. So I'm going to do the same thing where I have C and D. And I'm sure that you now can continue this problem out where we are going through C and D. Okay, and I want you to finish the line segment and the angle. Okay, for our flash drive, and then our compass rose. So remember, pause the video if you need to. And our compass rose is really simple. I know it looks confusing, but I can help you. We are going to make points here. So I'm going to make points here and here. All right, so this is going to be A, and this is going to be B. And I am going to put a line through the top, boom, to represent that this is my ray. So it's actually going to be B to A this time around. It's going to be different because remember, my ray is going through A, the point A. And then my line, I am going to represent, I'm going to put C here. Okay, I'm going to put C here. And my line is going to be different. So it's going to go through, and this is kind of tough to see. It's going to go through B and C here. Okay, because this is my point C and my point B. So it's going to go through B and C. That's my line. All right, and I think that you can finish the rest here if you want to. It's up to you to look for your line segment. You can make another line if you want. You can do here where you where you're making it at this point, right? And you can call this D, and you have B. All right, so I'd like for you to finish the line segment and the angles here for our compass rose. And I want you below to draw a familiar figure. You can do a house. Right? You can do a house if you want. And what they want you to do is label some points, identify the ray, the lines, the line segments, and an angle for me. All right? And you're going to be doing that on your own. So you have your vocabulary right here. Okay? You have some great examples right here. And I want you to do one on your own. All right? So good luck, everybody. I hope this is a fun lesson today. A little bit of drawing, a little bit of geometry, and a little bit of vocabulary. Have a good one.